papier-mâché dinosaur. Here's what we did yesterday. Nice and hard now. And as you can see, it's starting to become a papier-mâché dinosaur. So what we're going to do today is just work on this a little bit, refine it a bit, make sure it can stand up, and give it one more layer of papier-mâché. First, we need to see if it's going to stand up. Well, it doesn't. What you want to do is slip away at the legs a little bit. You can even manipulate it a little bit. So it's this leg here that's not helping. So I'm just giving it all a bit of a... What you can do is widen it a little bit like that. Great. That stands up. Now, we're going to give it a final layer of papier-mâché today, but if you look at this from yesterday, there's lots of areas that are a little bit scuzzy, and we want to smooth over those a bit so it all feels more like one object. The other thing we want to do is, I just want to give it a little bit of detail on top of their head here, because they have that little lump. Brachiosaurs. You could just make a, you know, brontosaurus or whatever you're making, but now's the time to just give it all those little details. But I'm not wearing the right clothes. This is my best jumper. I don't want to get paint on it, so I need to put on my clothes that I don't mind getting messy. To make the little lump on the head, just wet my fingers in the glue, get some newspaper, and just moulding a little lump and sticking it on top. That's perfect. This is really solid now, so nothing's going to fall off. So you can afford to squish it a bit if you want to give it a bit more of a pointy little head. Just like yesterday, but now we're going to do this a little bit more slowly. And actually I would suggest starting at the top and working down so you know what you've done. You're just going to slowly begin to cover it in another layer of newspaper and glue. And like I said yesterday, don't be afraid to get lots of glue on your hands, because this is the secret to successful One thing you can do with papier-mâché is alternate layers of newspaper and some other kind of thin paper that doesn't have anything printed on it. And that means you can see the bits you've already done. Or you could use something like the Financial Times or the Yellow Pages, if you have any of those lying around still. Something that's a different colour, so that it just means it's easier to keep an eye on where you've already put one layer and which bits are still uncovered and which bits you've already covered. And that means you can make sure that it's a more even coverage of newspaper. But as long as you concentrate, it should be fine. There's a little bit there I missed on his nose. I'm just going back and doing that. Just smooth it down. There we are. Okay, so you need to leave this somewhere, and we've got one more thing to do today, but you need clean hands for this because it's fiddly. So go and wash your hands. So the last thing that I'm going to show you to do is, if you look at this here, it's got these little toes. So how do we make those? Easy. Newspaper. A really small bit. More glue on your fingers. What you want to do is basically scrunch it up, pinch it, into a little tiny cone shape. Is that really blurry? Then you need to make 3 of these for each foot. So there's 4 legs on this dinosaur, so I need 12. Now, while these are still wet and your dinosaur is as well, stick them in place. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 1 foot. There we are. Perfect. Okay, now put it somewhere to dry. There we are. So when the glue is dry on the little toes you stuck on, there's just one more thing you need to do before the final stage, which is when you paint it. We just need to put a little bit of papier-mâché on these. To show you up close how to do this. Whoops. Okay, so because the toes are quite small and delicate, you're going to need some smaller and delicate bits of newspaper. So we're going to use the scissors for this. So you want to cut some little strips like this, like that, just very small. This is the most fiddly part. It's exactly the same, and you just want to get that newspaper nice and gluey. And then you're doing the same thing, putting the newspaper, that is, so it's quite fiddly. I'm wrapping that around the toes, like this. Now here's a little tip. Just using your scissors or something small, get that in between the toes to help smooth the newspaper. Because what you don't want to lose is those nice little toes you made. You don't want them swamped by the newspaper. You just want the newspaper that we're sticking on now is what just blends them in to the rest of the foot. Can you see that? It's a bit blurry. I think if I touch the screen. Oh, no, I don't know, it doesn't focus. Anyway, you can see what I'm doing. That's 1 foot. So now I just need to do the other 3. So you need to put this somewhere again to dry, and then when it's dry, we're going to paint it. Any paint's fine, and any colour, that's up to you, obviously. I don't know what I'm going to paint this. Yeah. Anyway, I need to put this somewhere to dry, because you can't paint it when it's wet. And so I'll see you tomorrow.